I think in terms of if we're bringing back more to the HR context would be a good example that I think a lot of companies don't realize they can actually tap into it is that without actually needing to go through the content of emails, for example, let's just say we just analyze the way certain emails go from this staff to another staff, and we can link the connections between the staff to see, okay, is this team working within this team only, or is this team working with other teams, or is there a lot of communication between different departments? So this is one of the use cases that you can use AI, because I think a lot of people when they think of AI, they think of all the really advanced things like Siri, Alexa, all those sci-fi movies where you have a butler robot standing next to you, or just need to wear an earpiece and you have an AI listening to whatever you have to say. But I think people tend to go too far in that sense because of all these Hollywood portrayals. Actually, AI can go down to even a granular level of just understanding how your staff is interacting among themselves. So if let's say an example would be, I always see this one person, one staff is always communicating with the rest of the suppliers or the rest of the vendors, then there you can actually detect a potential of what if this staff leaves the company? How will it impact the way that the vendor communicates with the company? Because you only have one point of contact in this company with an entire supplier outside the company. So as a HR's role is to make sure that even if a staff were to leave or a new staff were to come in, it doesn't disrupt the way the business is being run, or it can only, if this person leaves, then HR will know, okay, I can see that this person is a really key personnel, and based on the way that he's communicating with people outside, he is a very crucial part in what we're doing in the business, let's say. So this might be an important client, for example. So then the HR can use the way, analyze their email data to see that, oh, is this person also contacting someone outside of the company using the company email, or is there a lot of other people outside of the company trying to approach this staff? So me as a HR, of course, if I see that this person has high potential in a company, brings high value to my company, the last thing I want is for this person to be taken away or taken out of the company. So this is where HR can step in with assistance of AI technology and step in and say like, hey, I realize that your behavior seems to exhibit some kind of tendency that you want to leave the company. Then the HR, the human part comes in where I talk to you like, is there anything that you're not happy with the company? Can we talk about it? Perhaps we can, adjust maybe your benefits. So there's a lot of elements where the human comes in, but without the AI technology of being able to spot this kind of patterns, no matter how much the HR staff wants to assist in keeping you as a staff, they don't know. So the use case for this is that AI, what it does is it assists the HR department in having a clearer picture of what's going on among the staff. It's not to say that HR will be redundant and AI is just there to take care of all the staff in the company. In a way, AI is an assistant to your HR department. So instead of having to go through when people think of HR, they think of a lot of redundant tasks, like paperwork, administrative work, having to answer the same question with 50 staff, for example. So that's where technologies like chatbots come in. And so that instead of me having to correspond with 50 staff, answering the same question again and again, especially during the early beginning of the month when you have new hires coming in, most likely that my past experience working in Media Prima, for every month they would hire up to, I think, at least 50 to 100 people for the entire group. And most of the time, they will probably be having the same questions, but because you don't have an AI aspect in a company, for example, I would have to send 50 emails to the same HR person. And then me as a HR person, yes, I can say that, oh, I'll just have to, from an external perspective, you can just say that, oh, I can just reply to that 50 emails. How hard is it? The problem is, we never said it was hard. It was just that it was redundant. It's wasting resources, it's wasting time. So that's where chatbots come in, where perhaps your staff, they can just send a message to this chatbot, and chatbot will recognize that this question is something that's always asked by people, so they would have a generic answer. Because if you think about it, HR staff, the way they reply to your staff inquiries, it's not like they have a different answer for different staff members. They always have a generic response. So why use a human to do something that is so repetitive? Why not just use AI, which is something that you can train it to do a specific task? So that's one of the main use case for AI in HR. So there's a lot of aspects where AI can be used. So chatbot is just one of them. But if you look across all the multiple examples, the general idea is that it helps you save time and not have to do redundant tasks. So that's the current state of AI in the HR field right now.